Before I begin, I do want to thank everybody that came out tonight. It was a fantastic crowd. They were very involved in the game. Active participants in helping us win the football game, and our team and our staff's very appreciative of that. And we played pretty well today against a big, tough, physical Boston College team. Obviously, we did a better job, not perfect, but a better job of taking care of the football. We didn't eliminate all mistakes, but for 1 week, we were a more disciplined football team. We've got to continue to improve in that manner in order to give ourselves a chance in the future. But I'm awfully happy and grateful to get the win.
Coach, how pleased were you defensively with, obviously you guys were able to shut them out and keep them from doing basically anything all game. How happy were you with that effort?
Pretty pleased. I mean, we're getting the ball back pretty quickly, sometimes on short fields. We played good, smart football, and we felt like they were going to try and get big on us and try and run the ball and kind of force feed the run game, and we had to be able to handle that and then not give up big plays. A lot of times you'll see teams dedicate people to the box and in turn give up big plays in the passing game. We were able to eliminate both of those.
Where is Gerard right now in his development in your offense? I mean, he's obviously putting up very good numbers.
Oh, I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to the numbers. I pay more attention to the grade sheet in terms of our decisions on a play-by-play basis. Certainly made some good things or made some good plays out there and missed a few. So I will say this. Every week he seems to, or at least the last 3 weeks, he's approached it with a great mindset. It is obviously incredibly important to him to play well. You can see that by his preparation. He is a good listener and tries to do what we're asking him to do. And at times he does it on a fairly consistent basis.
Ricky.
Coach, you guys talked a lot about after the Battle of Bristol that you guys just didn't have that great of a week of practice. How much better do you feel like this week of practice was compared to last week?
I liked our Tuesday of this week much better than our Tuesday of last week. As I tried to shorten up Wednesday just a little bit for them, but we are still figuring those things out. So because we won one football game doesn't mean that we can rest on our laurels in terms of being a team that prepares every week. But it was a step in the right direction.
Paul.
Coach, in the first quarter there, Clark forced a fumble. You guys recovered, and it led to a touchdown. That seemed to sort of spark everything. Did it feel that way to you?
Well, it kind of all runs together to me during the game. I do know this. We felt like yards were going to be very difficult to come by coming into this game. This team is giving up 12 points a game on defense this year. Last year they gave up just over 15 points a game. So we felt like any time we could get a turnover and get a short field, we needed to do a great job capitalizing on it. And the kids, I kind of felt that momentum. And we're able to get things kind of kicked off.
Coach, did you feel like if you had eliminated the mistakes that you were capable of a performance like this, or are even you a little surprised at how thorough you were able to win this game today?
Well, I think if we eliminate mistakes and stay healthy and do a great job preparing and all the things that good teams do on a daily basis, then we'll have that opportunity. My only caution to our kids is you have to do it every single day. So, do we have a chance to play well on Saturdays, regardless of the opponent? Absolutely, and that doesn't mean we'll win every game, but it's up to us to make sure we give ourselves that opportunity. And we gave ourselves that opportunity this week, and in turn got some good results.
Justin, you've now won both games that you were supposed to win pretty much. Where does this game put you in terms of progress, where you want to be for the entire season if you're on track? And can you kind of adequately measure that progress in such a lopsided win?
I don't know. What the win means is we're 1-0. this week. We won our first conference game. We've got a great challenge coming up with East Carolina this week, a team that's I don't want to say had our number, but the last 2 games they beat Virginia Tech, and we're going to have to get ready to go play them. So where we're at in terms of our development is a daily thing. You know, I think it's important that we take it one day at a time. We don't overreact to the bad or the good. We continue to teach and focus on the task at hand and the preparation model that we have and try and perfect that the best we can.
Justin, you mentioned how effective BC had been defensively over last season and this. That was especially true against the rush. No one had run for more than 155 against them. You go for 2-something today. What made your running game so effective?
Well, I think part of it was that they got a little tired. You know, I don't know what the statistics are just throughout the game in terms of our rushing yards. I felt like during the game it was very difficult to run the ball early. We had a couple things schemed up and got some decent runs, but as the game wore on, you know, I felt like they played a lot of snaps. I don't know how many, but it seemed like they were on the field quite a bit. Their offense couldn't stay on the field, and it kind of wore them down a little bit. And then we made some plays in their run defense. We made some plays versus man coverage where they load the box, which helped it. They mixed in a little bit of too high, which let us pop a few runs in there too, which certainly helped.
Justin, you said you're more interested in grades than numbers where Gerard is concerned, but doesn't it speak does it speak to your preference that he's throwing 10 touchdown passes and that's the way you guys are mostly putting the ball in the end zone, or is that just how it's worked out?
No, I don't. I just want to try and win the game. You know, if it's a pass or a run, it really doesn't bother me one way or the other. You know, I don't have a preference. I believe in running an offensive system that fits your kids, and that's what we're trying to do weekly, and taking what the defense gives you. So if they load the box, we got to be able to make plays on the perimeter, and if they don't, we got to be able to run the ball on the inside. So that just seems to be how they've come the first couple of weeks. It could, as long as we're getting them, I'm all right.
Coach, how big of an impact do you think How big of an impact do you think the familiarity with Scott Loeffler's offense had to do with your defensive success today?
Yeah, I'm sure, that was a two-way street, I'm sure. Scott, having gone against Bud every day in practice for however many years he was here, so I think that kind of goes both ways. I don't know if there was a huge advantage one way or the other in terms of familiarity. But ultimately, obviously we did a good job on defense and kept the ball in front of us and limited the run game.
You got your first look at Marshawn Williams out there in the game. How do you think he did his first action? I
liked him. I like his demeanor during the game. He's serious but relaxed, and I've enjoyed him in practice through two-a-days. I was excited about him. He is a big physical kid. And an intelligent kid that picks things up quick and sees what's going on. And I enjoyed having him out there. I'm glad he's back.
Jack Click is a local kid for us. A small role today, but what has he been like to coach in practice? What kind of a worker is he?
Well, he's a great kid. He's great with kids in town. My kids like him. He's over the house. He sits down and plays with the girls. He's a lot of fun to be around. He's a good worker. This program and this football team's important to him. That's obvious. And I thought it was a nice reward. Brendan came in there and played well and scored, and we were going to run the quarterback a little bit. I felt like, we felt like on offense it'd be nice to reward Jack by letting him get in there there at the end, and he did a good job.
Last one, Ricky.
Coach, what did you see on the targeting call there on Gaines on that block?
Yeah, that's the rule. It's one of those deals. Every now and again, you get one of those plays that there's really not anything you can tell your own player. He's not allowed to block low. So I thought it was obvious that he was not trying to hit the kid in the head. But it's one of those plays. Now, I've had a couple of them in my career where there's really not a lot that you can be upset with him about, because it obviously wasn't intentional. He tried to hit the kid right in I think the initial contact, and I haven't seen the replay like y'all have, but it seemed to me that the initial contact was with the shoulder, on the shoulder, and then his head did hit him, and that's the rule. And we're legislating safety out there, and I understand that. But when you do that, there are going to be some unintended repercussions, and there's not really much else you can say about it.
All right, thank you, Coach.
You bet.
Coach Foster up next.
Okay, raise your hands. We'll start with Mike.
But just how happy were you overall with your defense's ability to first stop the run and kind of match that physical style you talked about?
Well, that was the key. We felt, obviously have utmost respect for BC and how physical they play. And I thought that was going to be the key either way, how we control the ball offensively up front and how we controlled line of scrimmage defensively. And I was really proud of our kids' effort that way. I thought we had a great week of practice. As we talked earlier in the week, you take 5 plays out of last week, we really played with this kind of effort and we were just more consistently good as far as our discipline, staying at home, doing the right thing, and I was really proud of that. My hat's off to our kids. They worked really, really hard. They bounced around this week, and our scout team kids gave us a great look. And at the end, those good habits, good things happen in the result of that. So I'm really proud of that.
Coach, how big did you think that the fumble Chuck Clark forced there in the first quarter that led to your touchdown was?
Well, that was real big, obviously. They just come off of returning a kick for a touchdown and got called back. And then, us to create a play that early in the game and get the momentum going right now, and then us, turn around and score, that's obviously a big play in the game and sets the tone for the game. And, Chuck's a good football player, and I like the way our kids are playing right now. As we talked in this offseason, trying to get more eyes on the ball, and we've been able to do that. And I like how we're fitting. They're confident in their guy around them, and we're playing fast. And it's, I hope it's just the start of good things to come still. But that was obviously a big play in the game, and by a good player.
Bud, a couple questions. First, now that you have hindsight, how much did familiarity with what Scott likes to do play a role? And second, when you guys get into the fourth quarter and they've got a donut up there, do you guys start talking about finishing off a shutout? Is that important to you at that point? Is it something you bring up to them, or does somebody bring it up?
Yeah, let's finish with the first one. I like the last comment, and I like the donuts. Those are hard to come by. But I told the kids when they're going in, we weren't just finishing the game. We're thin at some spots, and I want to make sure those guys want to go in and perform and execute, and just how they practice. Not because some of those guys were a play away from us, and those guys figuring in more consistently and having to perform. And if we were to have an injury and that type of thing arise. But I was proud how they stepped up. We had a couple young guys. Tavante Beckett showed up a couple times tonight that he didn't do a week ago, and that was encouraging. Along we see little Curtis Williams was a guy that made a couple nice plays. And so that's good to see some guys take that next step, because again they're a play away, and I tell you what, shutouts are hard to come by. I don't care who you're playing against, and that's something really, really proud of for our kids and happy for our kids. The familiarity with Lefty, probably more so in the passing game. I mean, their run game, they did a couple things early that they had not shown, quarterback runs, quarterback counters, and things that everybody's trying to do. And I like this. That goes back to us having more eyes on the ball and having our proper fits and that type of thing, spilling the ball and making it bounce and to a free hitter. But where it really came into more in play was the passing game. And I just kind of got his gear of what he was doing by splits and things of that nature. And we tried to mix up our coverages as far as some zone. He was running mesh routes, and then we were playing some man off of it too. When Adonis got his pick, we were in man free. And then, they ran through a really nice play. They dropped one, Sometimes you got to have good luck, after the turnover. They did a nice job of blocking our edge guy and blocking, and our corner was filling, where he needs to fit in the run game, and then he slipped. Luckily, sometimes it takes some luck as opposed to, just technique. But that's good for us to learn. We can teach off of that right there. But really happy for our kids, proud of our kids. Played extremely hard. This guy's been really proud of our seniors. They've been great leaders for us. Got a great group of seniors, and really happy for them and proud of them and proud of their leadership.
Coach, you mentioned earlier this week the importance of having good production out of the whip position against BC with them playing more backs and more tight ends. How do you think Mook and Anthony Shagog played today?
Looked like they played pretty well. I know Mook missed a tackle. I think he dropped 2 interceptions. They converted 4 first downs. One was the first third down of the game. One was a quarterback scrambled, and the other 2, if I'm not mistaken, went right through our hands into their hands. In both instances were Mook, and he wasn't happy with that. But I like the way he's got a knack of being around the football and being a playmaker. And Anthony's the same way. Mook's got a little bit more coverage abilities and playing in space as opposed to Anthony, but both are really quality football players and guys that I really like at that position, because Mook can give us that versatility with the nickel package, but Anthony gives us that versatility with heavier personnel, and then also in our 30 package. He does a nice job as that what we call our bandit position, and does a great job at that spot. So I like the play of both those guys right now.
Any other questions for Coach Foster?
Thank you. Good job, Chuck.
Thanks, Coach.
Chuck, as a player, how exciting is it to finish off a shutout and late in the game when maybe you're not on the field? How nervous are you watching the other guys, and how much do you want that?
It's very exciting, just to get a shutout period, During my whole time here, I'm not sure how many we had. I think that might be the first one, but it's very exciting. Anything can happen. They can get a field goal or some quick, cheap 3 points like that. So it's very exciting. You get to see the second group of guys go out there, and they get to hold them off as well. So the whole team comes together. It's very exciting.
Raise your hands for the microphone. There's a lot of questions. Brandon's also on there as well.
Brandon, if you could just answer the same question. How exciting is it to have a defense get a shutout, and late in the game when the backups are in, are you watching? Are you rooting for them, nervous for them?
Oh yeah, it's really exciting. Like Chuck said, I don't think we've had a goose egg since we've been here, but so just a chance to get that finally, and that's something we strive for every week, week in and week out, is to get that goose egg. And we were talking about we got to get this. They can't score, but when the backups went in, they did a fantastic job of keeping that way, and they made a lot of plays on the ball.
Brandon, it seemed like you yourself broke up a few passes today. How do you think the man coverage went so far against BC in this game?
I think it went well. We always have a plan going in, and we like to switch things up a little bit. So we just got to do what we know how to do, and just execute. And if we execute, no one can really stop us.
Chuck, could you go through that fumble in the first quarter and how it came about and what you thought it provided for the team?
It just being at home playing my part of the defense. Everybody has a job to do. We had somebody on the inside, and so the ball had to bounce outside to me, and it was just my time to make a play. Andrew, he's always in the right spot to pick the ball up somehow all the time. Sometimes he's always there, so he picked it up, and it's a big spark for our whole team. Offense goes down and scores, and we're on the momentum and on the roll from there.
Brandon, did you feel like if you guys eliminated the mistakes from the first 2 games, that you guys were capable physically of a thorough performance like this as a whole team? Not just defense, but also the offense. Did you feel like that something like this was possible, or even you a little bit surprised that it was as wide a margin today as it was?
No, I'm not surprised. You go in every week and you set goals for yourself, and we set a high goal for ourselves every single week. We set the standard. We we've been setting this standard since January in spring ball. Well, since spring ball, so it's not surprising. And we look to do this every single week, and we just want to get better from here. Take the mistakes and just get better from them.
Brandon, Coach Fuente seems like someone who can bring you guys back down to earth pretty quickly. In a post-game speech, what was he like in the locker room after? What was his message to you guys?
For one, just don't do anything that'll hurt the team tonight. And, it was a great win, but, as soon as that clock hits all zeros, it's on to the next game. And, it's ECU next week, so we got to get prepared.
Chuck, as one of the senior leaders on this team, how important was it for you guys to come out and have this kind of performance after kind of a deflating loss last week?
It's very important. You just got to get back up, brush your shoulders off, and move on to the next one. You can't dwell on the past. You just got to learn from it, and that's a lesson we learned, and just get stronger from it and be better.
Brandon, you guys seemed pretty calm on the sidelines considering the score. What was the celebration like in the locker room?
It was a great feeling. Just to know that we came together as a family. Even after a loss, we played a great game today. We still have things that we can get better on, but just that family. It was just felt like a family in there. We always are a tight group, and it was just great to get that win. And we're on to the next one, and it was just great to get that.
Thank you, John.
For Gerard and Isaiah, the touchdown that you caught in double coverage, one, was that ball supposed to be thrown to the two defenders there? And what did both of you guys see on that play?
After I threw it, I said, no, that ball shouldn't have been thrown. I seen him down, and I have Isaiah. The first time, I said I should have went to you, and I didn't. So this time I said, if I see him down, I'm coming to you. He came down, but obviously he went right back up, and luckily I threw a great ball for Isaiah to do a great catch. So, no, that ball shouldn't have been thrown. Probably going to hear about that tomorrow.
Yeah, like you said, just was seeing the look earlier in the game, and we missed it. And I knew he was going to come back to me when we called it again, regardless of the look. So it's just up to me to go up and make the play and make him look good. And that's why I tell him all the time. I beg him to just throw it up. And so when he did it, I have to go make the play.
Rod, I know you guys focused on it all week, the fumbles, and trying to cut down on that today. You don't have a single one, and how good did that feel to realize that you'd kind of made amends for that a little bit?
I'm asking a question to you. How do you feel about that? Okay, well, I feel great. I feel great about it. Again, these guys, I can't say enough about the leadership we have on this team. It's not just one guy that's a leader on this team. I mean, you have multiple guys that's a leader. I mean, Zay might not talk a lot, but he's a leader on the team. You have the O-line and Augie and John. Of course, you have Sam Rogers. I mean, that's a given. Then you have guys on the defense that are just great leaders as well. So they've been through hard times here. There's nothing new to them. And we as a group on offense was getting tired of fumbling. I mean, tired of seeing the same mistakes over and over. And we knew if we can just hold on to the ball, regardless of how much yards we get, we can do something great. And I think that's just a glimpse of what we can do if we keep this up.
Gerard, I was just going to ask you about that. Like, I know it's only one game since you guys have addressed the fumbles, but after today and not fumbling and the way you guys were able to handle yourselves on offense, do you feel like this offense is this kind of what it's about? Like, this is what you guys are hoping to do every game? This is kind of what it should be?
This is definitely what the offense that Coach Fuente, Coach Cornelson envisioned. And now I think the guys are getting taste of what we can do. I don't think the guys have seen an explosive offense. Just by talking to them and putting up 49 points, that's something new to the guys. But I think that's just a little taste of what we can do if we hold on to the ball. And I think they're going to get that much hungrier to go out and carry the ball that much more, because they know if we carry the ball and don't fumble, then it's everybody's going to get touches. Everybody's going to get the ball. Everybody's going to get their share because at the end of the day, we're a team, but we play for each other. And I think that showed today that we learned from our mistakes and we actually made a conscious effort to protect the ball.
For both Gerard and Isaiah, you guys talked about after the Bristol game that the week of practice just wasn't good enough. What was different about this week of practice compared to the previous week?
The sense of urgency. We're pretty laxed. Don't know the reason behind it on that Tuesday practice. And Wednesday we kind of tried to turn it around a little bit. But this week we made it a conscious effort from every position standpoint that we wasn't going to let that happen again. And that we know that you can't go out and try to play hard but not execute because you're going to lose. And that's what happened last week. And we really didn't want that to happen this week. So we made it a conscious effort to go out and focus and be urgent and pay attention to details.
Gerard, this is a little bit random, but Jack Click got into the game. What's he like in practice, and was it cool to have him out there?
Most definitely. That's my man. I give him a hard time. He gives me a hard time. It's like I said, the quarterback, we're a tight knit group. We definitely feed off each other. We talk, we play with each other, and we make fun of each other. But, yeah, it was definitely great. A great guy. Always wants the best for the team. I mean, he'll stop taking reps just so I can get extra reps so the team can succeed that much more. I mean, he's just what Coach Fuente wants in team first. He is the definition of team first. And it was great to see him go out there because all the hard work that he puts in and the time that he wants the team to do good, and he finally gets to showcase what he's been working on in practice all this time.
For either or both of you, I know you guys are excited about the points. To see the defense pitch a shutout, what's that like when you're on the sideline watching them play?
That's incredible to know that the defense has your back regardless of the circumstances that we put them in. And like you said, with the one turnover that we did have was because of me, and I thought that Boston College was going to get points out of it, and we stopped them. So I was kind of happy about that. But when our defense is playing lights out like that, we feel like we can compete with anyone.
Isaiah, someone who's been on the team with Marshawn for a while now, how good was it for you as a teammate to see him get on the field and have some good success?
It was unique to see him kind of look like the old Marshawn his freshman year, and to have some of those big runs and break a lot of tackles and things like that. It's exciting to see him getting back to his old self.
Any other questions for these student athletes? Paul?
Gerard, the defense gave you the ball in the first quarter. You guys went down the field very quickly and scored. How much was it? How much of a spark did the defense provide by getting the turnover, and how much did that that touchdown mean to the momentum of the team?
You can never say enough about the defense. I'm always praising them just because they are that good. I play against them every day in practice, so the things they present on defense is just different, because Coach Bud Foster is just a unique mind. He gets his players where he wants them, and then you have great players on defense that go execute what he's trying to do as a game plan. So them doing that's normal to me, and them actually always giving us a stop, whether it's a 3-and-out, whether it's a fumble, whether it's a pick. It's always a momentum shift for us because now we get to get another chance to go on that field and produce.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I did.